Hey everyone, this is Lynn Weinman and it is Marketing Monday. I am the president and chief strategist of Kid Glove, and I'm talking with you today about when and how your purpose driven organization should take a stand on social issues. With everything going on in the world right now, many purpose driven organizations and purpose driven leaders, whether they're in marketing or other areas of the organization, have been encouraged to speak out publicly on social and political issues. And in today's environment, it's not always acceptable to sit on the sidelines and wait for things to blow over. Because today, employees and consumers expect brands to take a stand. And when that stand aligns with your audience, research indicates that it's ultimately going to impact their decisions in a positive way. Some proof of this: according to a recent study by an organization called Razorfish, 82% of consumers make purchase decisions with purpose in mind. A Gartner study also indicates that 87% of employees want their employer to take a stand on issues relevant to their business. So, with today's workforce, employees are an important audience to all of us. And I personally believe that all of these numbers are on the rise, that purpose and speaking out on social issues is going to become more of the norm. But I also know that talking with a number of leaders in recent weeks, they feel the pressure to speak out, and often they want to speak out, but they don't know how, and we all want to avoid unintended consequences. So let's go through a couple of steps that can help you navigate these waters. The first step is to proactively develop a policy for when and how you are going to take a stand. So, this is very similar to crisis communications. If you wait until the issue arises, your feet are going to be held to the fire and you're going to be forced to make a hasty decision or to craft a hasty response. So, having a policy in place in advance will provide clear direction that will make your response easier and more effective. It will take some emotion out of the decision-making process and reduce the stress as well. So in a previous Marketing Monday video and subsequent blog post, I shared 3 questions you can ask to help guide whether or not you should speak out. And those 3 questions are: does the issue align with your organization's purpose? Can your organization add to the conversation in a meaningful way? And third, will your audience generally agree? A couple of quick things. If the issue aligns with your overall purpose, that makes it an easier decision. Can you add to the conversation in a meaningful way? One of my pet peeves right now is a social media post in favor of a holiday or a certain issue without any action to back it up. And thirdly, will your audience generally agree? You'll never get 100%, right? You'll never get 100%, but you also might lose people if you don't speak out in the appropriate way. So you've always got to balance those 3 things. I like these 3 quick questions as well because they provide the framework for a really logical thought process to guide that conversation. And it's really often helpful to lean into your purpose statement, your mission, your vision, your core values to help you craft this policy. And if you don't have those documents, that's a topic for another video or blog, or you could call someone like Kid Glove to help you out with that. The second step to help you navigate this process is to proactively share your policy with your team members. And if you feel up to it, you can even share that policy publicly. Sharing creates a level of transparency that builds trust. It also helps reduce stress when a heated situation arises. Consider sharing that policy in an employee manual, on an employee intranet, or in a separate policy document, and your website is a great place if you want to go public with it. The third step to help you through this process is to determine the voice you are going to use in sharing your response. Your response should be consistent with your overall brand voice. So if your brand voice is serious, your response should be serious. If you typically communicate with a more conversational tone or educational tones, then you should use that same voice. Consider having a few people review your statements before going public as well, just to ensure that you're not doing more harm than good with what you say and how you say it. Additionally, make sure that your publicly facing statement is consistent with the actions of your organization. You do not want to be called out or being caught in a hypocritical situation. Finally, as you navigate this process, if you decide not to speak out publicly on a big issue, you can still acknowledge internally that your team members may be hurting, and you can recognize that they may need some extra space immediately after or while something is occurring. So let me give you an example. And the best example I can give you is Kid Glove, because we're obviously very close to this. We've been working on our own policy and our own voice on issues for the past year. And recently, a major issue occurred on a day when I, as the president of the organization, was blocked out for hours in solid back-to-back meetings. One of our leaders was on top of the situation. She assessed what was going on. She saw that I was not available, and she leaned into our policy. She knew that we would not speak out publicly on this issue because we have employees and clients on both sides, and it really wasn't part of the issues that we discuss. So she was able to reach out to our team members in an appropriate and compassionate manner that recognized the tension and the emotions that were stirring. She was able to diffuse the situation and provide some support to employees that were hurting. Another example is our Kid Glove website. If you go to kidglove.com and you look in the What's New section, you will see several blog articles that Kid Glove has created, providing education on several sensitive topics related to issues of social justice, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And you will see that our voice is intentionally very positive and very educational, consistent with our overall brand. So if you are a purpose-driven business leader struggling with this issue, trying to decide whether and how you are going to speak out on issues, I'd really love to talk with you. Feel free to drop a comment into this post, or catch up with me on LinkedIn or Facebook, or send me an email. It's something I've been talking with a lot of leaders about lately, and I really do feel that as marketers, we have a really interesting point in time right now to use our voice for good. And of course, if you'd like more information on purpose-driven marketing topics, you can check out kidglove.com. Under the expertise section, you will find a whole page dedicated to purpose-driven marketing, where we have curated several resources, including blog posts, case studies, and podcasts. And you will also see that we have added a free video on how to turn your message into a movement for greater engagement and greater results. This also provides additional information on the topic of leaning into and speaking out on social issues. So thanks for joining me today on Marketing Monday, and have a great day, everyone.